Welcome to another edition of Mulligan Speakers International MSI Showcase. I'm Diane Mulligan, president of Mulligan Speakers International, and today we are talking to Michelle Villalobos. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, Diane. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm so excited to talk to you. Now, you are really an expert in sales and marketing, but most of all in personal branding. And that's such an interesting topic, especially for meeting planners. Tell me why you think this would be very important for meeting planners to understand.
Okay, so the key to personal branding really boils down to two major things. The idea is that if you're in a business where there's a lot of competition and where people tend to work with you based on referrals, then personal branding is fundamental because it really creates for you to be top of mind to generate referrals. And when you can get a lot of referrals in your business, all of a sudden your price points can go up. If people are talking about you, buzzing about you, and telling friends, oh, you need to call so and so, she's the best event planner, she's the best wedding planner, you know that that creates a premium for your services. So in any industry that's characterized by hefty competition, where there's almost a commoditization of the industry because there's a lot of people doing cut rate pricing, which event planning is one of those industries where a lot of women get in, and especially women, not only women, get into this business because it's something that they know how to do well and they want to make some money on the side. And then what happens is they end up charging too little, and personal branding can help them raise their prices and generate more referrals.
Now, Michelle, I would also think for someone that was in a corporate position, it would be important as far as promotion. Would you agree?
Absolutely. In fact, two of my recent biggest clients, I'm working with American Express Technologies here in South Florida, and also with, I'm just starting a workshop series with Audi Latin America. Corporate environments are really ripe for personal branding because the idea is you can position yourself as top of mind for that next promotion you want or for a lateral move that you want. So you need to brand yourself first as the perfect candidate and get people talking about you so that when the opportunity comes up, they go, we need that woman or we need that guy to take on this role.
Now, you recently wrote a chapter for Ivan Misner's latest bestseller, which is called Building the Ultimate Network. And in your chapter, it's titled From Nobody to Somebody, How to Quickly and Easily and Strategically Create a Personal Brand Online in 9 Easy Steps. You talk about the importance of developing an online brand. Tell me, can you give me a sneak peek and maybe talk about, three of your top points in that chapter?
Absolutely. And let me just give you a little bit of the premise too. The idea is it's one thing what we talked about a minute ago about having people refer you business and being top of mind. But there's also the component where if people are serious about working with you and they're considering you and maybe they're comparing you to other people, they're probably going to type your name into Google and see what comes up and see if what comes up is aligned with what you're saying about yourself. So the idea that the internet or Google really has become the new online resume really means that you need to take Google and own it and control it and manage it and make sure that it's saying about you what's going to be strategic to get you more business. So that being said, the most important thing on Google is to own your name. And the way that you own your name is you go online. The first thing you want to do is buy your URL. So for example, my URL is michellevillalobos.com. Yours is dianemulligan.com. You'd be surprised. I know you and I are pretty savvy, but a lot of people don't own their URL. You need to own your URL. And just as a parenthetical comment, I always tell parents, before you have a child, make sure you can own their URL and buy it for them before you even name them. Make sure that it's something that you can own. So then in order to own your name, what you want is for when people to Google, when they Google you, you want that whole first page of results to be you and to say the things about you that you're saying. So if I'm telling people that I am a business consultant and I specialize in personal branding, marketing strategy, then I need that whole first page at the very least of Google to say that about me. So this becomes an issue when you have people who have two or three simultaneous businesses going on, or who have a hobby that's not that, or who are known for something that's not the thing that makes them money. So the way to own your name on Google is fill out as many of these free profiles as you can. So obviously Facebook, LinkedIn is huge, Plaxo, Twitter, basically as many places as you can own your name, because, and Google Plus, Google Profiles is huge, because what'll happen is each of these profiles gets crawled by Google. And when that happens, it becomes a new search result for your name. So LinkedIn very quickly usually becomes people's top result. So that's a must. You have to fill it out and fill it out completely and make sure that you're using the keywords that are going to tell people the story of who you are and what you do. So that'll become a really quick Google result, and you need 10 of those at the very least to own that first page. So number one, you want to own your name. Number two, in terms of online, you want to gather testimonials. Uh, LinkedIn is a great place to do that, is to ask people to endorse you, give you testimonials. I don't know where I read this once, but it's stuck in my head that the magic number of testimonials is 16. You want to have at least 16 people telling the world how great you are. One or two testimonials, people are thinking, oh, she asked them, they're a friend of hers. But once you get past this sort of critical mass, then it really establishes your credibility. And then the third piece of developing an online brand is to deliver valuable content to your network. So once you've identified who your ideal target audience is, start crafting content that would make sense for them. Just to give you an example, one of the methods that I use to deliver valuable content online, I do a lot of slideshows for all my corporate presentations and speaking engagements. And they're fun slideshows. They're very visual based. They're not full of bullet points. People like them and they tend to go viral. So I post all my slideshows on a place called slideshare.net. And then I can share them on Facebook, on Twitter, and that's a great place for me, sort of like a home base for me to host all of my content. So I encourage event planners to think, how can I deliver valuable content to my network? Who's hiring me? If the person who's hiring me are corporate event planners, how can I craft content that's going to make sense to corporate event planners and get my name out there among them so the day they need to hire somebody to plan an event, they think of me? Or how can I give wedding tips to brides that are planning their wedding? And then keep in mind who your audience is. If you're focusing on an upscale audience, and you'd be surprised how often this happens, focusing on an upscale audience, you really want to take an approach where you're focusing on how can you make your wedding unique? How can you be memorable? How can you be different than everybody else, rather than how to plan a wedding on a budget? Because the upscale bride, she may have a budget just like anybody else, but that's not her number one concern. So really get into the head of who you're delivering valuable content for, and then post that anywhere that makes sense online: YouTube, SlideShare, Facebook, wherever.
These are great tips, and I have to tell you that once I went to your seminar and heard you speak, I went home immediately, and that's when I got my name, my URL. I did it right
Right?
away. And so there are so many things that are very practical that you talk about when you do your presentation, but you always do have such fun. Your slideshows are fun. Your presentation, your stories are great. So thank you so much for taking the time today. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all the people who are watching. We hope you have a wonderful day. Michelle is just a perfect example of the type of speakers that we have at Mulligan Speakers International. We're here to help you to transform your audiences and to make sure they have a great time at the same time. Have a great one. Thank you.